Hello, I'm Marissa, and I'm going to show you today how to make this earring. And it's not hard. We are going to be going through these beads a lot, so I am using a size 12 needle, and I have about 3.5 feet, 3.5 feet, yeah, 3.5 feet thread on my needle, and I am using the blue. Since I'm using dark colors, I'm using gunmetal seed beads, and all my seed beads are gunmetal color. And well, they're actually called gunmetal. And I am using except for my 8-ohs, I'm using 15-ohs, 11-ohs, and some 8-ohs. And so everything is pretty dark. My colors are pretty dark, so I am using this blue color. And it is a size 6. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is this middle part right here with our StormDuos, picking up my StormDuos and my DiscDuos. So we need to be picking up our StormDuos. Let me pick them up and then I'll show you how I pick them up. Like this. Okay? This is how we're picking up our StormDuos. So this is right here, this part, these bottom StormDuos, and you see how they are kind of like cupping the little crystal. So they're like this. Okay, so that's how we're going to have to pick them up here for the bottom and then for the top. So coming out of my StormDuo, coming out of my StormDuo once again, and it's trying to escape from me. All right. Coming out of my StormDuo goes on a DiscDuo. And then once again, we're going to pick up our StormDuos again to where they look like they can cup the crystal once I put the crystal. And I'm kind of chasing it around everywhere. Come on. And then here is my other StormDuo. And then I'm going to pick up a DiscDuo. All right. I'm going to bring all of these down. I'm not going to tie a knot, and you can use a stop bead. I'm just going to take my tail and see how I'm coming out of my StormDuo here. I'm just going to put my tail in through the other hole and kind of do that. That way it'll keep everything without falling off of my thread. All right, so I added my 2 little pairs of StormDuos, a DiscDuo, another pair of StormDuos, my DiscDuo, and now I'm going to just come around and go through everything. Since I'm using a size 6 thread, I'm coming around and I'm doing this. Let me show you. Let me go through this StormDuo also. All right. And pardon me, I know I sound nasally. It's these allergies again. So, all right. Once I pulled and I went back in through my beads, this is what you should have. This is what I have. And I am going to go through all of these beads again 2 more times. So I will have 3 threads in all of these beads. And that part is pretty simple. And I will stop recording in a minute while I go through everything. But just to show you that this is what you should have. Okay. And my thumb is in the way. But again, I'm just going through everything. And since I'm using this wonderful size 6 thread, it's very smooth, by the way. This thread is very smooth, and it's just, you know, gliding. It feels like it's gliding as I pull the thread. I really like it a lot. So I know I have a strong thread in there, and it's just going to melt away because you're not going to see it because it melts in with the color of my beads that I'm using. And it's also very strong. It's a very strong thread. So here we go. I am just going through everything. And I am going to go through everything one more time because I'm not going to come back down to this little section. So I'm going to go through everything one more time, and then I will meet you back.
Listen up, beaders. This month's treasure box is a stunning collection with over $100 worth of premium beads, including gemstones, crystals, tulip beads, butterfly beads, and polished round beads, for as little as $29.99. That's up to 60% off retail, plus amazing welcome gifts for new subscribers, including a pearl collection, an additional treasure box, or even the ultimate beading kit. Subscribe now at PotomacBeads.com/subscribe.
All right, so all of my beads, this first hole that we used, I have like 3 threads going through them. So it's nice and tight and sturdy. And once I came out of my StormDuo here, I just hopped on over to this hole on top. So I'm coming out of this StormDuo here. You can see my tail thread right here. So now in between these little pairs of StormDuos, I'm going to add a 15-0, a 4mm round crystal, and a 15-0. So 15-0, 4mm round crystal, and a 15-0. You can also use just a regular 4mm round bead, a smooth round, a pearl, you know, that'll work too. It doesn't have to be a crystal, but I like using crystals, so that's what I went with. Now here, coming out of my StormDuo, I'm going to add, coming out of my StormDuo right before my DiscDuo, I'm going to add an 11-0, and I'm going to go through this second hole of my DiscDuo, and then coming out of my DiscDuo again goes an 11-0, and I'm going to go through this top hole of my StormDuo, and we're back at my StormDuo, my little pairs here. So on goes a 15-0, a little 4mm round crystal, or whatever 4mm bead you're using, and a 15-0, and I'm going to go through this hole here, and then coming out again before my DiscDuo goes an 11-0, and then go through your DiscDuo, and then an 11-0, and go through your StormDuo, and then go through your StormDuo and catch your 15-0, but do not go through your crystal. Okay, so this is what we should have, and that already looks really cute in my opinion. So now we're going to put some more seed beads around this little component. We're going to do all these little edging. See how you see the 15-0s here, and then that's an 8-0. So that's what we're going to do. So coming out of my 15-0 there, where am I coming? Yeah, on my 15-0 before my crystal, I'm going to do 3 15-0s, an 11-0, and 3 15-0s. So that's what you're going to do. We're doing that here, and we're also going to do that here on this side. Okay, so I'm coming out of here on my 15-0, and I'm going to go through my next 15-0, through my next StormDuo, and I'm going to come out of my next 11-0, the one before my DiscDuo. Now when we're coming out of our 11-0s here before our DiscDuo, we're going to do 3 15-0s again, and this time we're going to do an 8-0 and then 3 15-0s again. And we're going to go through our next 11-0, StormDuo, and 15-0. And once again, we're up here, or down here, and coming out of the 15-0, we're going to pick up 3 15-0s, and 11-0, and 3 15-0s. And then we're going to go through this 15-0, through the StormDuo, and come out of that 11-0 before my DiscDuo. And we're going to do the same thing we did on this side, which was 3 15-0s, an 8-0, and 3 15-0s. 3 15-0s, 8-0. Is it the same? I like for them to look, you know, as similar as possible. So I'm going to go through this 11-0. I'm going to come out of this 15-0, and then I'm going to sew to this 11-0 right here, because we're going to add our little component now that's attached to our ear wire. So coming out of this 15-0, I'm going to go through these 3, and then I'm going to come out of my 11-0 right there. And I will put it down so you can see. 11-0 in the middle. All right, so I'm coming out of this little 11-0 up here, and I'm going to pick up 2 15-0s. Again, I'm going to pick up 2 StormDuos in the way that I've been picking them up, and I will show you right now as soon as I get them on my needle. And let me pick up the 2 other 15-0s so you can see everything I have. So this is what I have on my needle once I'm coming out of this 11-0 there. It's 2 15-0s, my StormDuos just like this, and 2 15-0s. Coming out of my 11-0, I'm going to go through my 11-0 again. And then I'm going to go through all these beads again and go through my 11-0 again, because I just cannot stand the thought of there being just one thread through, connecting all this together. It just bothers me. And I know I could definitely reinforce it later, but I don't know. I just have to do it right now. All right. So coming out on this side, and again, just going through everything I added and through that same 11-0. So let's pull, 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 pull. I'm going to hold on to everything and just pull my thread. And now I'm going to go up these 15-0s. Then I'm going to go through my StormDuos again. And when I'm coming out of my thread is caught. Okay. All right. Coming out here, right? I'm going to go through my StormDuos, and now I'm going to pick up 4 more 15-0s. And you can do this with 2 needles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 4 15-0s. Coming out of here, down here, and then I'm going to go up this hole of my StormDuo. Whoops. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of put those, tap them in place. Now up here, coming out of my StormDuo, I'm going to do the same thing I did here and here. I'm going to pick up a 15-0, another crystal, another crystal, one that wants to cooperate, and a 15-0. And I'm going to go through this next StormDuo, and then I'm going to decorate the other side of this StormDuo like I did this side by picking up 4 15-0s. So I'm picking up 4 15-0s. And I'm going to go through my StormDuo, my next StormDuo, and I'm going to come out and I'm going to go, oh no, I didn't go through my StormDuo here. Okay, I will meet you back while I fix that. Okay, now I was going through that StormDuo, but since I hadn't pulled my thread all the way, it looked like I hadn't, but I fixed it. Okay, long story short, I fixed it. Okay, so through these StormDuos and then up these 15-0s. Now we're going to go back up our StormDuo, our 15-0, and we're going to do the same thing that we did here and here, how we decorated the outside of our crystal. We are going to add, so I'm just going to go through my StormDuo and my 15-0, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the 3 15-0s, an 11-0, and 3 15-0s. And I'm going to go through this 15-0 and my StormDuo, and be sure to catch your 15-0s after that. So now what I'm going to do here is connect. See how we have our groupings of 4 15-0s on each side of our StormDuo, and then we have our 2 15-0s that are connected to our StormDuos and this 11-0. We're going to connect all these 4 with these 2, go through this 11-0 here, and then go up the 2 and the 4 and then come out. So in other words, just go through all your 15-0s here, which is 6. You should have 6. See? And then we're going to go through our 11-0 here, because I want to connect all of those little seed beads together. And I'm just gonna take out my, don't want to catch my thread here. Oh, good grief. All right. And then now, see where I came out of? Now I'm going to go up all of these, which should be 6 in total of my 15-0s. And we want to sew up to the 11-0 up here, okay? Because now I'm going to add my little loop where I'm going to connect my ear wire. Now I am going to do a loop with seed beads with 15-0s because I just like how that looks for this project. I do use, and you can definitely use a wire guard up here. I did that with the silver pair that I don't have in front of me. Okay, coming out there. I did use a wire guard with the silver pair that I made. Oh no, here they are. I do have one, okay. I used a wire guard here. And it looks good, I like it. But since these are darker seed beads, I like how it gives it a more, I don't know, a more antique-y, Victorian, even Gothic look. So in my opinion, the seed beads add a little bit of that laciness to it, add to that lacy look of it, rather than if I added a wire guard. Which again, I like the wire guard on the silver pair, but on this darker color, I really do like how the little 15-0s look. So I'm coming out of that 11-0. I'm going to add 6 15-0s. So I have 6 15-0s. I'm going to go through this 11-0 again. And I am going to go through it a couple more times because this is the part that is going to connect with our ear wire, so it needs to be strong. It's like when you add a clasp, how you have to reinforce it. So here's my loop, and I'm just going to reinforce it 2 more times off camera. All right, so I reinforced this little loop, and then I just, after I reinforced, I came down my 15-0s, down my my StormDuo, and then down. and then down everything, and I made my way out. So now I'm coming out of this little 11-0 here, this one, the one that connects this little component with this bigger component. Now I'm going to what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to sew down these 15-0s, the StormDuo, 11-0, 15-0s, 8-0, 15-0, StormDuo, and now I'm going to be adding the bottom part of our earring to this 11-0 here, okay? So I'm just going to sew through everything. You can even, like if you don't want to sew through these outer ones, which I prefer to do anyway, because the more threads through the outer part, our little border of our earring, the better in my opinion. But you can always cut through the DiscDuo. I'm not going to do that because again, this string is thin enough to where you can do it comfortably. So I'm just going to sew through everything and make sure that you do not skip any beads, any of your 11-0s or your 15-0s going down, and I'm halfway there. Okay, down these 15-0s, this StormDuo, the 15-0, and I'm almost there at that bottom 11-0. And we're going to add our little component now for the bottom. Now this next part, there's actually more than one way to do it. I'm just going to show you how I did it, okay? Because these beads have 2 holes in them, I mean, you can just sew through them like nothing. You know, it's just so easy. So I'm getting my StormDuos ready because this is how they're going to look. Now, this is how we're going to pick them up now. So we need 4 more StormDuos. And here's where we're going to add another crystal and our teardrop. Okay, so I'm coming out of my 11-0 here at the bottom. I'm going to go through 2 StormDuos like this, okay? Picking them like this and like this. All right. So let me pull my thread and show you better. Okay. And not get tangled in myself, and I did. All right, let me just untangle this. My thread got caught. Okay. All right, so coming out of my 11-0, and I did not pick them up correctly. Okay, let me take them up. Oh no, yes I did. All right. Coming out of my 11-0 and I'm on this side, and this is how my StormDuos look, okay? So now I'm going to, no, I'm sorry. I went in through my StormDuos the wrong way, but they still need to be like that, the way I had them. Okay, again, coming out of my 11-0, we're going to go this way through it, not this way, but this way. All right, like this. So coming out my 11-0, and I'm coming out of my StormDuos. I was coming out this way, now I'm coming out over here. So this is how they look, like 2 little S's coming out this way on this side. Now I'm going to pick up a 15-0, and I'm going to go through the 2 little 15-0s before my 11-0. I'm going to go through my 11-0 as well, and then I'm going to come out of the 2 15-0s on the other side of that 11-0, and I'm just going to hold everything and pull my thread. And okay, so coming out of my 11-0, I'm going to come out through 2 15-0s after it. Now here, I'm going to add a 15-0, and I'm going to add my StormDuos again, like that. Since I'm coming out in this direction, now I will be coming out. Now I will be going through my super duos like that. So let me show you how I have it. Coming out of these two little 15-0s after my 11-0 here, I picked up, in case you need me to get closer, see, 11-0, two 15-0s, and now I picked up another 15-0 in my StormDuos like this. So I'm going to go back through my 11-0 and back through these two 15-0s, and I'm going to go through that 15-0 that I added when I added my StormDuos. And I'm going to just hold everything and I'm going to pull. All right. And it is going to fix itself up as you progress. Okay. All right. So this is what I have. Okay. So now I'm coming out of this 15-0 before my StormDuo, and I'm going to go through these StormDuos again. And now I'm going to add my 8-0 there. Okay, so I'm coming out here in between these two StormDuos. I'm going to pick up an 8-0. I want a little bit of a fatter one. I guess they're all the same. All right, and I'm going to go through these StormDuos here. And don't get caught. Let me just fix that right quick, because I got caught here. And again, holding on to everything and pulling. And now I'm coming out of my StormDuo. I just want to fix this. Coming out of my StormDuo over here, I'm going to add, good grief, I have seed beads all over my hands. All right, 4 more 15-0s. I'm coming out of here, this one, and I'm going to go down here to this hole of my StormDuo. And now we're going to add an 11-0 and go through our next StormDuo. And then here we're going to add our crystal, our 4mm round, whatever it is that you're using. And I'm going to go through this StormDuo, and then again I'm going to pick up, coming out of this one, I'm going to do the same thing that I did over here, and I'm going to pick up an 11-0, and when I'm coming out of this StormDuo, I'm going to pick up 4 more 15-0s. All right, and then 4 more 15-0s. Whoops, had an 11-0 in there. And I'm going to go down this StormDuo here. I'm gonna get just a little bit closer. Okay, I'll try not to get too close. Okay, so my 4 15-0s coming in here. And then I'm going to sew across to come out over here. So I'm gonna go through, well, I'm coming out of the StormDuo. I'm going to go through this next one, my 8-0, my StormDuo, my next StormDuo, down these 15-0s, and then I'm going to make my way back to my little crystal to add my teardrop. So go ahead and do the same. All right, now I'm coming out of my little crystal there, and I'm going to add 3 11-0s, my teardrop, and I'm going in through the skinnier side, and I'm coming out through the rounded side. And I'm going to pick up a 15-0. If you want, you could pick up 3 15-0s here to do like a little picot, but I'm not. And I'm just gonna go back up. After I'm coming out of my 15-0, I'm gonna go back up my teardrop and through my first 11-0 after it, and I'm going to pull. And then I'm going to pick up 2 more 11-0s, and I'm going to go back through this side of my crystal, and I'm going to go through all of those again. All of those. Just because I just want to reinforce everything. So, again, through these 2 11-0s, my third one, down my teardrop, through my 15-0 here, and then I'm going to go back, and my hand is totally in the way, but I am just reinforcing. Now I know that there's a little bit of extra, not a whole lot, but space in between here, the crystal and these 11-0s. If you want, you could even add 1 more 11-0 or a 15-0 there, but I don't think it needs it, but you can certainly do that. And I think I just came out of my 15-0. Yeah. So go back through my 15-0, and then I'm going to go back up my teardrop and up that first 11-0. And I'm going to go through these 2 on the side here. And I'm going to go back up, and I'm going to go through this crystal, and then I'm going to come out. I'm going to go through my StormDuos, through everything on this side to come out. Okay, so up my StormDuo, my 11-0, my next StormDuo. Well, you may have to do that like 1 at a time, or a little bit at a time. Okay, like that. So this bottom part is now complete. And what I want to do now is I'm coming out of here, my StormDuo here, and I'm going to go up these here, and I'm going to go through, because you want to follow your thread path. See how these 15-0s are not connected to the 15-0 here? Now, if you want, you can do that. You can add another 15-0 and connect everything, but I'm not. I just like the way it looks like this. So again, it's, personal preference. So I'm coming out here, I'm going to go through these 15-0s, and then after those 15-0s, I'm going to go down my StormDuo. And then I'm just going to come out of, I'm going to go through here, through here, through here and here, and come out there, and then just, come out. And then you are pretty much done. All you have to do now is find your tail thread and connect to it. But what I like to do is just go through all of these one more time. Since I'm using a very thin thread, again, I'm using size 6, I can do that with no trouble, no problem, no worries that I'm going to break any of my beads. So I'm going to just sew out of here, make my way through here, and I'm just going to sew through this middle point again. And then I'm going to connect, find my thread, and tie a knot. And then I will add my ear wire. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I will meet you back. Okay, so one more time. I just came out through here, went up this 15-0, through these 15-0s, and through this StormDuo, and now I'm over here. So as I said, I'm just going to go through everything here on the main part of my earring, which is this part. I'm just going to go through, see how there's only one thread through some of these 15-0s. I just want to go through everything again just to make sure that everything is nice and tight and that I have little to no thread showing and that it's, you know, nice and not such a, you know, or not a flimsy earring. So, and see, that's what you need to do. Most of the time when you're making, especially earrings, well, really any piece, if it doesn't feel as strong when you're holding it, and just reinforce it. You know, you're the one holding your piece. You're the one that is going to wear it or sell it. And so you can feel it. So you know if it needs it. So even if whoever's doing the tutorial doesn't say to reinforce it, you know, if you feel that it needs it, just do it. Okay, so I like how this looks and feels already. What I'm going to do now is my StormDuos here. So I can actually go through this one more time. And I'm just going to skip these 15-0s. I'm going to go through this 15-0 here before my crystal. And then I'm just going to cut through my crystal and then just meet my thread. But it's hard to see. Everything is nice and tight. And so I can't get to it now because I can't see that well, but I'm gonna just make my way to this thread and then I'm gonna tie a knot and then we'll look at our finished piece, our pair of earrings together. And here we go. These are our finished earrings. I hope you like this tutorial. I hope you like the design and enjoy making these. And I like these a lot. They're long. I like long earrings and they're not heavy. So that's my thing. Big earrings that are light, that aren't heavy. And here, I don't have the other one. I don't know where I left it. But I also made these ones in silver color. And these are just as pretty, I think. I don't know which ones I like better. But here we go. This is what I have, and I hope you enjoy making these, and thank you very much for watching.